Happy Wednesday, everyone. Good morning and welcome to FYI. It is Wednesday, the 2nd of February, 2022. I hope you had an awesome evening, and I am here this morning.
What's the date?
It is, oh my gosh, it's a Taurus.
The 2nd of March, folks, the 2nd of March. Truth is taking us way, way back. Tell me where she is. She's sitting last month. Believe it or not, 2nd of March. And believe it or not, it's Ash Wednesday.
I just said that?
Yeah, loud and proud. And it's Ash Wednesday too. She has to go and get her ash. Cleanse her from last month.
I just had a moment again.
Cleanse her from last month.
You know. I had one yesterday.
It's okay. Happens to us all. Folks, as Judy said, welcome to our program. FYI, it's the second day, not February, it's March. FYI, Charita, FYI. Guys, really glad to have all of you here with us. You know, it's a privilege to have you guys morning after morning. Somebody messaged and say, y'all come on quick. We're waiting to have our tea. Who's the person? Got some bad name people, you know.
I think it was
got some real bad name people.
Gavin Liverpool.
Gavin Liverpool. You, Gavin, can't wait to eat. I hope you say prayers.
He was waiting to drink his cup of tea.
Yes, really hope that you guys are great. How was the night? How was the night, folks? The night by now is far spent. And here we are. It's Tuesday, the 2nd day of March. Move along, Twitter. Move along. The 2nd day of March, believe it or not, 2nd day of March. And that's how the year's rushing by.
I thought about it before I said it, you know.
That's how the year's rushing by. And guys, we really hope that you are well on your way. You're out the blocks where your goals and aspiration and your hopes and all that, those things are concerned, and that you're in hot pursuit of accomplishing that. Folks, when we look back on 2022, you must be able to say, look what I have accomplished. Don't take these things lightly. The time is rushing by. 2nd day of March, Rita. 2nd day of March. 2nd day of March. 2nd day of March.
Oh my God. This is not going to end here, but it has been quite a run so far. Mm-hmm. I guess a year's run away so quickly. I'm trying to pull it back by an entire month.
Yeah. So, 2 years ago, it was election day.
Yes.
2 years ago today, it would have been election day.
We had.
That's another story by itself.
Well, we're not even gonna start.
I'm just drink some tea.
So good morning to you folks who's joining us this morning. Like we always say, let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what you're having for breakfast. And as you do that, make sure that you are sharing the live stream and also that you are clicking those emojis.
Yes. And you know, we know that you guys have been having some challenges with the shares. And that's a Facebook problem. That isn't always. It's either Facebook or it's them boys.
We have
the CIA.
On that note, I have to say that we spent a considerable amount of time yesterday actually researching the numerous complaints we've been getting from persons that have not been able to share the live stream. So we're still working at it, and it seems to be an issue that comes directly from Facebook. Yeah. So we are working on it. So we just hope that persons that are not getting the issue just continue to share. And for the persons that are getting the issue, just continue to report that to us so that because we are looking at it in a very comprehensive manner. Very serious, you know.
Correct. Sharing is important. Right? The Lord say must share. Today's Ash Wednesday. The Lord say must share. The Lord.
I'm sure it is extreme.
So share.
And so, guys, good morning to you. I see Paulette Hicks online. Good morning to you, Paulette.
Paulette, how are you, Paulette? Good to see you.
Diane Graves Zandy is joining us this morning from Linden. Good morning, Diane.
All the usual suspects.
Sean Carter is joining us this morning. Good morning, Sean is joining from London.
I'm happy that Sharita picked up an accent too. Sean Carter.
That's not how you say it.
I love it. Carter. He's a Carter here. Martin Carter, the national poet.
It's not
Carter.
C-A-R-T-E-R.
Carter. I agree with you thoroughly. It's Carter. Martin Carter, the national poet. Sean Carter.
Robert is here. Robert Archer. Robert is saying again from Niagara Falls.
Hope you follow. Good to see you, Robert. Good to see you, Robert.
Is it Karen Clark?
Yes, Karen, how are you?
Karen.
So good to have you, Karen.
Well, I'm not sure about.
If it's Carter's Karen. Karen. Good morning to you.
And of course, we have Andrew Cusworth with us this morning. Good morning to you, Andrew.
Them family you can't get rid of.
I see Ganesh Maipol is saying Ganesh Maipol is here also. So good morning, Ganesh.
Well, we're going to be talking about something that's right up Ganesh's alley in terms of what he covers in Parliament.
But actually, we have a lot of things to discuss that concerns Ganesh this
Yes,
morning.
you know.
So-
Ganesh, if you're passing by in the studio, stop in, man.
Yeah, man.
Shucks.
Come
We have
on.
to ask you and beg you. Just stop in. Lord of mercy. I drink
So
some
we have
coffee for them.
Marlon King is joining us from New Amsterdam this morning. Good morning to you, Marlon, and all the folks that's joining from New Amsterdam. Rowena Williams, good morning to you, Rowena. I see, is it whiskey session? Whiskey session.
So
I
early.
don't
You have no whiskey session so early.
whiskey session is
You know what some of your habits creep into your Facebook names too? Whiskey session.
watching from Tiger Bay.
Oh yes, yes. Stop it, Siri. Stop it.
So, you know, that one throwing me off a little bit.
Whiskey session from Tiger Bay here. Stop it right now. Later on in the day, perhaps. Later on in the day. Good to have you, nonetheless. Whiskey session. We hope this program sobers you up. We hope so.
We have Feroz Khan with us this morning.
Feroz, my brother, how you doing?
Feroz a little miserable this morning.
Feroz, I'm here for you a little while, my brother. Unmiserabilize yourself. Unmiserabilize yourself,
You know,
please.
Feroz is one of those persons that's always online, always on stream. So we're always happy to have you. Feroz is always
Any cyber hugs for Feroz? You need some?
he needs a little more than cyber hugs.
Cyber box. What does Feroz need? Folks, what does Feroz need? If you're out there and you're seeing Feroz's comment, what do you think Feroz needs?
I'm not even gonna go into that. I see Lincoln King in the
Lincoln!
comment. Lincoln is a very
Lincoln!
strong name, you know.
Yes,
Lincoln.
yes.
The Lincoln.
And I'm sure doing much better than Feroz is doing.
Well, I hope everyone can actually give some support to Feroz
Yeah,
in the
Feroz needs some
comment
support
section.
this morning. He needs some support.
Tyrone
Need a cup of
Wong.
coffee.
Tyrone Wong is joining us from New Jersey. Good morning to you, Tyrone, and all the folks that are tuning in this morning from New Jersey. We're happy to see all of you in the house. Let me know if there's anyone joining from Texas this morning.
It's always bigger.
I have
Things are always bigger
a
in
sudden
Texas.
interest in Texas
Why?
since Caribbean Airlines is giving
Flying to Texas,
straight
believe it or not.
flight.
I mean, they could advertise with us, Caribbean Airlines, or if you're listening, you know, but Caribbean Airlines flying to Texas, that has been very appealing to me too.
Yeah,
Because usually you just fly to Miami,
exactly.
that's the closest you get, and
It
Texas
says
is
a
right
whole.
next door.
It says a whole lot.
You,
And
you can see Texas from Miami.
I see Mark Dover is joining us from Mahaica, East Coast,
Oh,
Demerara.
fantastic. Moldova,
So
good
the
place.
folks on the East Coast, good morning to all
Yeah,
of you.
on that corridor.
And who do we have? Who do we have from the West Coast this morning? We want to see the persons from the West
Who
Coast. Come
do we
on.
have? Who do we have, guys, from the West Coast? Beatrice is here.
Oh, Beatrice is
And
not.
Beatrice's daughter.
Beatrice is from Queen.
And Beatrice is, no, I'm this. She's probably from the West Coast of Queens.
Beatrice
But
is
Beatrice's
from Barnacle.
Beatrice's daughter celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Oh, so happy birthday to your daughter, Beatrice.
Yes.
No, Beatrice is family. So
Good. Happy birthday, daughter. Can't remember the young lady's name. Alicia, I think it is. Something there about. But happy birthday, happy belated birthday nonetheless. I see Errol, is it Jarrison? Am I getting it right? Did this, they have the monitor so far, you know, big people eyes.
Granny Anna.
Granny and same thing. they got it monitor so far. Damn you folks.
We have,
Garnish on the West Coast. Garnish is from the West Coast. How could we forget Garnish?
how could we
Forget
forget that?
Garnish?
Garnish
Senior
always
moment.
a repping from the West
Senior
side.
moment.
So yes.
Garnish. Good to see you.
Garnish, I would only expect Garnish will be sharing this live stream so to make sure that everyone gets credit.
Especially on the West Coast.
Especially persons
Right?
on the West Coast.
Especially there. They need it.
We
On the West side.
Garnish,
need
you
it.
have a different level of expectation, so you need to be sharing more than anyone else.
Yes. And you know, everybody watching us, I'm certain by now it's hundreds of persons watching us, if not thousands, watching us. And we encourage you guys to share the live stream. Let me start throwing paper to all.
Fidel Juman is on this morning. Good morning to you, Fidel. You know, we got a couple miserable persons this morning. So, Fidel, you know, we're here.
Fidel, good
Thanks
morning,
for being here.
Fidel. I'm willing to share some of my coffee. You're passing by the studio, Fidel, you stop in. You got some coffee here with us. We can start you right. Don't worry. You don't worry, Fidel.
So Donna McDonald, it's always good to have Donna here in the house. And
Yes.
all the comment warriors, you know, you brighten my day altogether. I love to go back in the comment section and see the comment warriors.
And when you all see those Fidels of the world and Feroz of the world, I was the F's. I don't know why. Fidel and Feroz, you all give them some love. Show them some love, folks. You know, we got enough war in this world already. right? Let's not
Yeah.
make war. Let's make peace. Show them some love. Send them some cyber hugs and so on.
Well, when the names are so
Mhm.
similar, it makes me want to believe if some of those profiles are actually real.
Yeah,
So,
but then
but
if they
nevertheless,
got the time on their hand for fake profiles and so on. But happy to have you folks with all the real profiles here. Veronica Primo Rollins is here. Good to see you, Veronica. And I see also Marilyn King is here. If my eyes don't fool me. Paul DeAndre, Paul, I didn't see you for a little while. How have you been doing, Paul? They're working you out, boy. They're really working you out. And I see again all of the usual suspects. Is it Anne Marie Roberts? Anne Marie, how do you do? Good to see you, Anne Marie. Really good to see you.
I see Judith. David has joined us.
Judith, girl, how was the breakfast coming there?
But Judith have some fancy breakfast. We can't come.
Oh
up and
yes,
stress
it's
with her.
always some real bushy things
pepper
and so on.
pot with
Bushy things.
cassava, all
Can the
sorts
meat for
of
pepper
things.
pot now thing little out there. So when you having pepper pot at this time of year, you know, bushy, young, bushy, rich. That's a refrain in the song, Rita. You know these things well.
Young Bushy Rich. I do
Yeah,
not
there's
know
a refrain in
this
a song
song.
like
You know,
that.
Shed
Guys,
put me
good to
on the
have you.
spot on things I
Maureen
don't know.
Chichester is here as well. Maureen Chichester Paul has showed up as well. Guys, wherever you're joining us, y'all have some friends. We know y'all always gone by defense and you talk little things with the neighbor. Share the life, share with the neighbor. All right, let that be the thing y'all talk about this morning. Send it on WhatsApp too to a couple of folks. We're on Twitter, we broadcasting on Twitter, broadcasting on LinkedIn, we broadcasting on Facebook, we broadcasting on YouTube. And if you guys are watching us at any one of those forums, like Twitter, for instance, follow us on Twitter, follow us on LinkedIn. You need to subscribe on YouTube.
Are we live on Instagram
and
as well?
follow. Not as yet.
Not as yet.
Not as yet, but we're working on that. We're working on that. Instagram and the other thing. TikTok. Right?
TikTok.
TikTok. We're going to be there shortly, folks. But great to have those of you who are here with us. Great to have you guys.
It's always a pleasure to have you. A whole lot going on right now.
A whole lot. And we know that you guys, you all are so busy. Y'all can't even get a little time to skim through the papers. People have given up on the papers. We can help you all. Don't worry. We can help you all. A lot happening, Judah.
Yeah, definitely. And as one of the things, as we skim through the morning papers, I want to actually take note of one specific matter. Are we talking about the 2022 road carnage? And
yes. Y'all know we've been talking about this, the carnage on the roads.
Every single day. And we see being headline here in one of our daily newspapers that traffic accidents claim 14 lives in less than 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
I want that to sink in with persons. They're saying
morning
here
papers.
That traffic accident has claimed 14 lives in less than 2 months. This is barely 2022. We've been saying the persons need to be careful on the road.
Yeah.
14 persons died so far for 2022 with traffic accidents. This is something that cannot continue.
It's too many. It's 14 too many, folks. And again, we've been saying here, slow down, arrive alive. Slow down, arrive alive. It's not something we just tell you guys. We have to practice this too. As we engage the road, as we use the road, guys, as responsible road users, we got to slow down too. And folks, we're going to be delving into these issues more and more. You see, what you see as this program is going to evolve over time as we not only talk to you about these issues, but we try also to play our part in educating. And we're going to be talking with people who know about these issues, how to use the road, how to use the roads well. And we're going to be bringing that kind of information, solid information, to you guys on how we should be using the road. But we can say exercise caution. And one of the things they teach you when you're doing the theory of driving and so on is when in doubt, pull back.
Yes.
Even as a pedestrian, when in doubt, pull back. When in doubt, as a pedestrian, as a cyclist, as a motorist, pull back. Right? Be cautious on the road. Be very, very cautious. So that's one of the issues we're seeing in the morning papers, across the morning papers. We're not telling you which one you should subscribe to because they're advertising with us.
Sherrod is not being very nice in the morning papers this morning, but
that's one of the things.
Most definitely, we're not going to go down.
On another one of the papers front pages that we have, we're seeing them saying that 2 have committed to stand trial for the murder of the Henry boys. You read up. And that's an issue we picked up on last evening on our other program.
Well, this is a very contentious matter altogether. A lot have been said in the public sphere as to the 2 persons. The public have their own belief as to this case and how it is going, how it has been dealt with so far. So all we're hoping for is for a clear closure to it all. As
Justice.
Guyanese, justice,
Justice.
basically.
I think they have apprehended two young men who were charged, and now that the trial moves to the High Court, and that's what's happening there. The trial moves to the High Court, and but the thing here with a lot of folks is that they're not convinced when they've heard these two young men that these are the two perpetrators, that these are the intellectual authors of the murder of the Henry boys, and people say that there is more in the matter on this than on the pistol.
Correct.
More in the matter.
Well, everyone has been saying that this is a matter that we've been following as a country, not just in Guyana and the diaspora. Guyanese have been following this a whole lot. So, like Sherrod rightly said, what all that the family needs and is looking for, and the country, is justice.
Correct.
And
Correct.
not just justice being served, like to say someone is being punished, but justice in the sense that the perpetrators are being
Exactly.
punished. Right?
Exactly. And that's another issue. FYI, making the morning papers.
Well, I'm picking up a headline again from one of the morning papers that says Dr. Ashley Singh puts out 11-minute video defending project but silent on 6 most dangerous risks thrown on Guyana. So you know that, and we are commending all these constructive criticisms that are coming in, and we keep saying that we're not just coming to say we're critiquing work of government or anything like that, but it's constructive criticism. And when persons and writers in the newspapers are picking up on these matters, we need to commend them for going down and dissecting it piece by piece, part by part, and actually saying, well, yes, a video is out there and the video is addressing XYZ, but the video is failing to address the most some of the most important matters of these projects that merit concern.
But the other side of this issue, guys, as we look at what some of the issues in the morning papers, the other side of this issue is the fact that the administration has experience on this matter, and so they're not fighting some critics on the other side or in the corner. They are fighting their own history, their own record.
Correct.
On this, and when they have dealt with the Milo Falls in the past, they have had people dealing with the Milo Falls at the head of the project who should have no interest really truly in hydropower or anything like that, because it was people who had no experience in it. And we're talking about Fip Motilal specifically.
Yes.
Who had no expertise, no experience in this area, and really and truly did not do well for the project. So it is their own history and their own record that they are fighting against. And that is why people are not buying into this thing, because we've been here before. We've seen this movie before. It didn't end well. And then when people look at some of the other issues that operating, like last evening on our affiliate program In the Ring, we talked about how on some of these big projects, they have been waiving the EIAs, the environmental impact assessment. Now, when you're doing that, people think, you want a certain outcome, so you don't want the studies to be done. You don't want the research to be put in to look at how these things might impact the environment, the ecosystem, human life, and all that. You're stacking the deck in a certain way. And as long as you do that, you could put out whichever 7-minute video you want. That's not going to convince people. And this is whether it's the PPP in power or it is the new AFC in power. If you deal with it in a certain mercurial manner, you can get the same response.
Well, I'm looking at the matter altogether, and one thing is sure is that when you have to come at this stage to defend a project that you should have been going to the people and doing consultations with prior to actually budgeting for it, it just goes to show what is the administration's interpretation of democracy altogether. So what is being said now, the defense of this project right now, these are things that should be done prior to actually budgeting for these projects and so forth. That is the whole reason that you go to the public. That's the whole reason that you have consultation. Just don't come out now and trying to put plasters on the sore. Basically, that's what we're seeing going on right now. So public continue to hold officials accountable, all officials. I'm not saying just government officials, continue to hold all officials accountable.
And one of the things that I see happens in the US, which I really love, is how the administration, whichever administration is in, it could be the Democrats, it could be the Republicans, they always try to get buy-in from the people. And you'd often hear, the president is going on the road on this issue. They're going to hold town halls, try to educate the people why this program is necessary, why they need buy-in, why they need their support. And they try to get buy-in from the American people. And then they can look and say, 75% of Americans think we should be heading in this direction because you have the polls now that are going to be done. 65% of Americans, just after last night's State of the Union address by the US President Joe Biden, they had a poll out saying, you know, Americans believe that 33% of Americans believe that he's handling the war in the Ukraine the right way, and an overwhelming majority says no, they don't think he's handling it the right way. But this is the way that they go, trying to get buy-in, trying to get consensus.
Because that's democracy. No. I think that is
we just come and we try to hit people over the head and say, but take this, as against.
How many times did you hear him speak about the critics?
I think like 0 times.
Not once. Yep. Not once.
Yep. And we can talk about that. Hold on. We there.
Oh my goodness.
Jolting some of you now. But, you know, coming off of what we're seeing in the morning papers and moving now to the morning trend, last evening there was the State of the Union address by the US President Joe Biden. And, you know, we could dissect the presentation for what it was, and we could, you know, give the pros and cons and talk about some of what came out of that. And I think Judy might have some place to stick in some of the comments you wanted to make just now. So,
well, one of the things I believe that came out, one of the trending matter that we saw from that is the fact that Biden, President Joe Biden of the United States, actually announced that they have basically blocked Russian flights from their airspace, and that was one of the announcements that was made. I believe that we have some footage when it comes to that. If the guys can just let me know if we have some footage available for that announcement last evening, we can go into that.
Hear this?
We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets. We're coming for your ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy. He has no idea what's coming. The ruble has already lost 30% of its value. The Russian stock market has lost 40% of its value, and trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering.
Yep. That was the State of the Union yesterday.
There you had it. Also, I know that Russia has also closed its airspace, its airlines from 36 countries, including 27 members of the European Union. So this is like a tit for tat when it comes to the closing off of doors. And also, again, I'm not sure if we have this footage available for you guys, but yesterday, actually, there was dozens of diplomats that walked out during the Russian foreign minister's address at the UN Human Rights.
There was a special meeting that was happening of the UN Human Rights Council Committee, and when the foreign minister was talking, as you just said, the folks walked out, and that was in stark contrast as to when the Ukrainian president spoke. There was a standing ovation. But when the Russian foreign minister spoke, the folks weren't having it. The folks in the UN, they weren't having it, and they walked out.
They basically were saying that they did that in solidarity of Ukraine. This is human rights. This is a human rights body at the level of the UN, and they're basically saying when you have human rights violation, then basically you cannot just stand there and just listen to the comments from the Russian foreign minister.
Yep, and I think the guys are going to pull that up for us. Here is the footage of the guys walking out when the Russian foreign minister is speaking at the UN.
UN has to take a very strong stance in defense of its own principles, of the UN Charter, because what Russia did to Ukraine is an attack on the UN foundations, on the foundations of our cooperation. It's an attack on all 192, except Russia, member states.
There you had it, folks. That footage was taken from The Guardian, so we want to thank The Guardian for that piece of footage. And as you heard, their very strong words. They stand in solidarity of Ukraine, and basically calling on the UN Charter to be respected altogether as it pertains to human rights.
Correct. And as we talk about that, I think some other things are very important. When you look and when you listen to the State of the Union address last evening, one, for me, Biden had a lot of senior moments during this address. He didn't seem to remember his way in the script and all that. You had some senior moments. So let me put that one side. But outside of that, there was Biden sitting in the Congress of the United States of America addressing the nation. You had the nation's politicians. All of them were there. You had also the chief justices of America. They were sitting there, and you had some members of the joint services who were also there. And what was amazing to me, that there was unanimous applause on all the notes concerning Ukraine and this intervention, this war by Russia. I'm not going to go the Donald Ramatari way and say intervention, but this war that Russia has perpetuated on the Ukraine. And every sane person you talk to, you read, you listen to commentators, experts on this issue, says Russia is wrong. I don't see anybody out there on the international stage who is saying that Russia has a just cause to invade Ukraine, to perpetuate this war on Ukraine. But that wasn't what's striking to me. Because when I looked at Biden, I thought about our own situation where you have an administration who does not want to recognize the opposition, is saying there's one Guyana, but they don't even invite the opposition to certain key functions. But this is a country where you just had what it was widely accepted to be an insurrection.
Yes.
Widely accepted to be an insurrection happening at that same place that they're having this speech. But the Democrats are there, the Republicans are there, and they're moving their country forward, right? And I saw also that Biden was not afraid of criticism. There was a point when he was talking about some taxes that were passed under the Trump administration that favored the top 1%, and they were loud boos from Republicans. But he didn't allow that to stop him, right? That is their democratic right, to boo him, not to try to overturn his presentation, not to protest in Congress. There's going to be a time for that and all that. But there was a loud boo. You heard that? Yeah. They were united in their condemnation of Russia. But again, Biden was not afraid to enter that chamber to say what he had to say, knowing what was going to come from the other side. And even though it was the Republicans who perpetuated that insurrection, trying to prolong the life of the last administration in their own way, and here it is, they're all sitting down together, moving their country forward. That's what I took from
because that is democracy altogether, and those are the benchmarks that we should be taking as a country. If anyone wants to speak about one Guyana, I dare say that is the benchmark that you should be trying to achieve.
There is
altogether.
Absolutely no excuse. You have the minority leader, the majority leader, the entire leadership of the American political system sitting there with all of their grievances. Lots of people who are sitting in that room during last evening, lots of them do not believe that Joe Biden was legitimately elected, but they're sitting down there. They were invited there, nonetheless, because that is democracy. And if you got a problem with democracy, we often say, what else is there? Cameron Ramjan loves to make this point. If you got problems with this kind of democracy, then what is your alternative? They disagree, vehemently disagree. And I heard Joe Biden thanking some of them for supporting him on various bills and measures and so on. They disagree vehemently. As we said, there was that insurrection there. Some of them don't even believe he was legitimately elected, but they're all there trying to move their country forward. And he's not saying he's refusing to meet with Republicans because they don't recognize him as president and all this kind of foolishness. And we're going to take a page out of their book. Take some good pages. We seem to only want to take the bad pages.
Most definitely, and we've been saying for a while that when it comes to matters like health and or border up matters and so forth, that we should have a collective voice on that. There should be no line drawn down the middle of any of such matters, and we've been saying it all the time, and that is our stance. And I believe that any administration that actually want to accomplish a one Guyana would actually go down the line of having all voices integrated on such important matters, unlike what we're seeing here today.
Yep. That being said, folks, a little closer to home, Rita, we got some stuff happening on the local front too that has made the morning trend.
Well, GCOM has appointed a new legal officer.
GCOM.
GCOM has appointed a new legal officer, Mr. Kurt Anthony De Silva. That appointment was done yesterday, actually. And I believe, if I'm picking up correctly from 1 second.
Yep. Things going on, things moving forward at GCOM, guys. Things are moving forward. And,
I said the Guyana Election Commission at a statutory meeting held on Tuesday, March 1st, 2022, appointed Attorney at Law Mr. Kurt Anthony De Silva as a legal officer. And as we're picking up out of one of the online media houses, that De Silva replaces Excellence Dezelle, who had resigned back in 2020. And Mr. De Silva holds a Master's of Law degree in Public Law from the University of the West Indies. And basically, you can go and do some research on the individual, but that happened yesterday coming out of GCOM. Also,
well, GCOM is a Rottweiler pit, and so best wishes to Mr. De Silva. Best wishes. We're gonna be.
That's all we can say,
Best wishes. We wish you well, and we hope that you serve our country, because that's quite a post you're gonna hold there, and you serve and work in the best interest of our country. We know we got local government on the horizon. We're going to be talking about that a little later on. Local government election on the horizon. And no doubt, Mr. De Silva's expertise and experience is going to be much look forward to in this area here.
And when it comes to GCOM, any appointment at GCOM, but you don't have any time lapse or time period to actually go in and learn this.
You got to hit the ground running.
Hit the ground running.
Everyone there. We wish you the best, Mr. De Silva. We wish you the best. Other things happening on the local front too, Rita?
Actually, more at the GCOM level. GCOM has announced that
there's always more happening at GCOM. Always.
It will be having a cycle of continuous registration set to start on the 7th of March, which is going to be Monday. So GCOM is announcing that they're going to be starting a cycle of continuous registration beginning March 7th, 2020. And folks,
go out and get registered. Go out and get registered. If you have not been registered, go out and get registered. It's part of your democratic right.
Most definitely. I want to be very clear on this matter when it comes to going out there. Everyone go out there and get registered. And I know, let me be clear on this also. We have been pushing, and the collective opposition, I say, and I am a part of that view also, that the only real way that we should be going is house to house registration as opposed to this continuous registration. But I'm not going to be out here sitting and
be part of the process as well.
Not to go out.
Be part of the process.
Because we are going to be continuing. I think the fight should continue to push for the house to house registration, because that is the only way that you can actually
a true
reflection of the voters list altogether.
A sanitized voters list. And guys, folks, listen to us. If you do not get registered, if you're not registered, right, it affects your eligibility to vote. So you have to go out there and get registered. And we sit down too long, we sit back too long and wait for things to come to us. But as part of this active citizenship we've been talking about this pace and power for 2022, you have to go after things. If you see them in your area or you're in hearing, you go out, you call up GCOM. How can I get registered? Go after these things.
So it's
How can I get my friends
on
registered?
that
My
note,
family registered?
it's going to be at all of the all of the GCOM local offices throughout the country. That process will be beginning. So again, we're saying go out and get registered. I want to make it clear that having this cycle of continuous registration does not stop GCOM from going and having households registration.
Yeah.
So don't say that, oh, we're going to wait for to see how this matter pans out and when we're going to get the households ready. Yes, we're pushing for the households registration, but in the meantime, once the system has started, which is set to start on Monday, every single last one of you, make sure that you are registered.
Exercise your citizenship. Go out and get registered. And be there, say to GCOM, you all have any little ad or little literature, video or otherwise on this issue? Send it to us. We can play it for free. Y'all don't even have to pay us. Well, if you want, you can pay us for the advertising. But send it to us. And we're going to ensure that we do our part as active citizens to ensure that others become registered. Folks, you got to go after this thing. Don't wait for democracy to come to you. You got to pursue it. And this is part of your democratic right, part of your democratic obligation to vote. And as part of that process of getting the right to vote is being registered. Being registered. And that's our encouragement on this one.
Most definitely, I stand with that, and we will definitely be bringing you more updates on that particular matter. I think we're going to be inviting some of the experts in that department to speak with the public as regards that. But
FYI.
When it comes to the Parliament of Guyana, I want to move from GCOM now to the Parliament of Guyana. I know this is more close to Sherrod. So when it comes to free up the weed,
yes, please. Free it up, guys. Free it up. And you know the Parliament of Guyana. We were debating in the recent past this motion concerning the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill of 2020. We had brought a motion to have the legal limit in the amount of weed that a person can use be elevated. And we had started at 500 grams, not because we're crazy, not because we're smoking high grade, but as a maximum for which we can engage the authorities and come to ultimately a consensus on what that figure should be. Now, folks, we ain't going to exhaust the discussion this morning on the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Amendment Bill of 2020 because it is so broad-based. There are other countries right in the region who have gone ahead on this matter. They have a whole economy surrounding weed and hemp and all of that. And the medicinal value, the science, folks. We know much more about weed and hemp and marijuana and ganja, you whatever you call it. We know much more about it now than we did in the past. And the whole notion about it and why this debate was brought in the first place is because of progress. And
we have to get up to speed.
We have to get up to speed with the rest of the world. The science is on the side of legalizing it more and more, and that is the area in which we want to proceed.
It's more regularizing what is going on, and it has a huge economic benefit to it altogether too. That's my
a huge economic benefit, and the fact that we are still sending lots of young men to jail for a piece of grass, it's ridiculous. And so written submissions have been invited. I think the submissions are being made to the Attorney General. Is it Attorney? No, it's to the Parliament.
It's to the Parliament. Yeah. The Parliament actually put out a notice yesterday inviting the public to have written submissions on this bill altogether. And if you go to the Parliament of Guyana website, you can also download the bill as is and read thoroughly what is going on there and make your written submission to the Parliament of Guyana. Also, I just want to say that as we are in that discussion, I'm getting some messages from my phone from some young men, even in Bartica, that is commenting on this free up the weed.
Free up the weed, folks.
So I encourage those folks out there, this is a matter that affects all of us. And so many families have been affected by young men, young fathers
who have been sent away and imprisoned in jail.
Imprisoned for just smoking one joint. This is something that we have to fight. This is something that we have to change, and it has a huge cost to society.
We free up, but we regulate.
Write it. Write those things down. Be passionate about this altogether, and make sure you submit your position
Yeah.
on this bill to the parliament.
And we know we have lots of law students who join us. I remember when I was an undergraduate doing law, what was the lady's name who taught us criminal law and some other form of law? Mr. Amsterdam is her name. I think she still lectures at UG. You know, we all were so bright-eyed as undergraduates reading law. And I remember, you know, everybody had the first class with her. She asked, you know, what are your aspirations? And you had all these human rights lawyers and all of that. And I remember her jugging some of us once. There was a protest on campus, and she said, "All y'all want to be, you know, human rights and this and that. You got protests and none of y'all are part of it. all in class, sit down. And here's a cause you should be championing. So if you're passionate about this, write.
Yes.
Write about it. There's an opportunity to write. Let your thoughts be made known. Whether you're university students doing psychology, sociology, law, here's a good opportunity. Let some of those ideas percolating in your head be known. Put it down on paper.
But there's so much. Having the invitation for public to write actually opens the door for civil society. You know, youth
organization,
groups, religious bodies.
Yes,
everyone
political
should
parties
have
too.
Their voices heard on this matter. And of course, individual. If you're an individual, you believe this is your stand on it. You have your written submission sent in. So I encourage persons to engage in that process.
Yep. That being said, folks, you all know this month is Women's History Month, believe it or not. And then we got International Women's Day coming up on March 8th. I don't know if you...
But before we even go into that...
Oh, am I running ahead?
I think he's running ahead a little bit.
Pull me back.
When it comes to the public submission, there's one more important matter that I want to bring to you guys this morning, is that the Auditor General actually said at the last public accounts committee meeting held on Monday, the Auditor General made it known that the public can actually write in requesting that certain projects be audited. And this is for you to do. You know the government is undertaking a project in your community. If you have information and you believe it to be done in a manner that is not in keeping with...
That is inconsistent with.
That is inconsistent. Then with the laws and regulations that should be guiding the spending of public funds and so forth, you as an individual in that community, you can write the audit office or the general saying that you can write and request that project be audited. And this is something I think everyone needs to know. This information needs to go out to everyone, because there are a lot of times that things are done even in remote locations that persons are not that are central do not know about. So whatever part of the country that you're living in, whatever project is being undertaken by government, if you believe that there is cause for that project to be audited by the Auditor General, you have the freedom to write to the audit office and to request that project is audited, obviously stating your reasons for that request and so on.
I dare say too, send us the information. You know, there's a project being executed in your area. You think, again, it's inconsistent with good practice and spending and, you know, that kind of stuff. Send the information to us as well. Send us some videos, send us some photographs, send us your thoughts as well. And we'll be certain to make sure they're ventilated fully in the public. Fully. Can I get your Women's Day now?
Yes, yes, you can.
Good, my Lord. Guys,
yes,
as we said,
you can.
It's International Women's Month. I discovered that recently. International Women's Month, and then International Women's Day comes up on the 8th. I didn't discover that. We knew that before that. Women's Day is coming up on the 8th, and from yesterday right up until the 8th, we're going to be featuring a woman of interest for our person of interest segment. And yesterday we featured Mrs. Sandra Granger. She's the wife of former President, His Excellency David Arthur Granger, and she discharged that role as First Lady with style, with class, and dignity. And we were discussing yesterday how she brought a lot to the table as First Lady, as a person,
as Sandra Granger,
and how that helped in her role as First Lady, and helped us along as a country. So from now until the 8th, in our person of interest segment in our program, we're going to be talking about a lady who we think is worthy of note. And we're going to get all kind of dissension, but that's democracy. That's democracy. And we've been saying yesterday, if you feel we should be focusing on someone who you haven't heard us focus on as yet, as a woman of note, of worth, of excellence, dignity, and all of that, drop us a comment. And let us know. Let us know. That being said, folks, our person of interest this morning, drum roll, Drita.
Our person of interest this morning
I know the guy's got a drum roll for us.
is
Drum roll.
none other than Roxanne George, our Chief Justice.
Oh, Roxanne George,
active.
Wiltshire.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And that is our person
Hey, Auntie
of
Roxanne.
interest
Hey.
today. What a phenomenal woman
Yes, she is.
altogether.
Yes, yes.
I know that when we're speaking about Roxanne Joy, her appointment has been so many, and her qualifications. My gosh, bachelor's of law. We have her here at best graduating student at Woodlands Law School, best graduating Guyanese student, the 1990 Masters of Studies International Human Rights Law, Oxford University, 2006. This
Auntie
is a
Roxanne
woman.
got your things.
This is a woman.
A woman with her things.
Well, most definitely, she has done so much, and we celebrate her today all together.
Yeah. So congrats on a fantastic career, Chief Justice Roxanne George Wiltshire. You're a girl with your things, apparently. Well qualified, and you can dissent
Yes.
in terms of her judgments and so on, but clearly articulated some very, very decisive written judgments, and you can clearly follow her trail of thought and how she has arrived at the decision she has arrived at. You might not agree with the decision. It's all right. If this is a democracy, as we preach, then you have a right to dissent, and you may not agree with the outcome of the judgment, but you can say that they are well researched, well articulated, and overall, she's had a distinguished career as Chief Justice.
Yes.
And believe it or not, Roxanne George Wiltshire is the Chief Justice acting.
Yes.
And it's a good point for us to make that we support the substantive appointment
correct.
of Roxanne George Wiltshire as Chief Justice.
It will be quite a phenomenal move if that can be done in the month of March, and that we celebrate
Exactly.
women throughout the world. Because as a woman, I must say that you can sit and listen to her judgment, and as you rightly say, persons could have dissenting views as to the judgment altogether. But when you sit down as a woman and you have realized the height of which this woman has risen to over the years, you have to be proud as a woman. And I'm always uplifting to women going out there and working hard and doing what they need to do to make sure that we as women throughout the world are recognized and respected equally.
Yep. And again, respected manners to Roxanne George Wiltshire. A very, very, very strong in the legal profession. Her legal career distinguished. Her judgments, whether you agree with them or not, you can see they're sung in when you look back at how she arrived at those decisions. And we want to recognize her for her contributions. And again, this woman, along with the others in the judiciary, should be appointed. Chief Justice is still, we got too many people acting. And we talked about when we started the program how Biden is working with the Republicans. Here's an area in which opposition and government can agree. And you should agree, because this is one of the areas where constitutionally the leader of the opposition and the president have to agree on who becomes on these substantive appointments. And I know, even though we're in a little limbo where leader of the opposition is concerned, our last leader of the opposition, Mr. Joseph Harman, was in agreement that the Chief Justice should be substantively appointed. Our Chancellor also, and our female Court of Appeal justices all have sterling careers as well. Correct. In the legal fraternity, and we give them honorable mention this morning.
Well, but just picking up from my notes here, some of the things that Roxanne George has been involved in. So, consultant on legislation related to children, facilitator for the implementation of the Sexual Offense Act. We have facilitator for training of magistrate on gender-based violence and women's human rights at seminars in England. English-speaking Caribbean regions, rather, and also main interest is issue that affects women, children, and their empowerment and development altogether. So this is a woman that we can celebrate altogether. These are the things that she has been involved in, and she has been excellent in carrying out those duties.
And if we come aside from those political hot button cases where we might not agree on, and we come aside from those, you know, we're in a pandemic. I don't want to say we're coming out. We're in a pandemic, and she has kind of made the courts mobile. She opened lots of they converted containers, you know, in a very nice way into court settings where a speedy trial then is not denied persons if you were locked up for some issue, convicted, you were charged for some issue, you were still guaranteed a speedy trial. And how we've also transformed the court system to suit for virtual hearings as well. I think all of that goes to her credit. I mean, there are numerous things that you can point to happening in the judiciary that are positive, that goes to that goes to the Chief Justice's credit. And these are just a couple of the practical things that why we believe that on this Wednesday morning, the second day of March, the Chief Justice, Roxanne George Wiltshire, is our person of interest.
Yes, so congratulations to you,
strong woman,
Roxanne George Wiltshire, for all the work that you have done. And today, FYI celebrates you as a woman for being that
trailblazer,
tower of strength and a trailblazer here in Guyana.
Yep. That being said, folks, the biggest issue, I think Rita has this one, the biggest issue today.
Well, as we see it there, the big issue, the breaking down of the guardrails.
And in particular, we're talking about.
In particular, what we want to discuss this morning is actually the breaking down of the guardrails when it comes to local democracy.
Ganesh name calling out.
Local democracy altogether. And
most
definitely, this is an area that our colleague Ganesh Maipod is very familiar with, something that he has been following. And this is we're actually continuing this morning this discussion, picking it up from our affiliate program Below the Belt, where we had very strong comments coming out yesterday from none other than Mayor Ubraj Narain.
Lord Mayor.
His worship, the mayor, as to what is going on at the mayor and city council of Georgetown altogether. And we remind persons that local democracy is something that that we should all be very passionate about. There should not be any line drawn again,
especially
down the middle of this.
And you have said that there should be some things that are off limits to politics, and we believe developing the local government system should be one of that. But we've seen currently an adversarial relationship between City Hall, for instance, and the local government commission, which should not be. They should be working in tandem again to develop what's happening on the ground.
Yes, but what we are seeing, and we definitely need to be putting a lot of public. I'm trying to pick my words very careful right now as I go into this very contentious matter, folks. But altogether, what we're saying is that the actions right now by the administration is not geared, and it is not. We don't see actions as actually steering in the direction of inclusiveness when it comes to the decisions that are being made at the local government level, especially when we speak about the city of Georgetown. We heard the mayor yesterday at pains trying to. He's basically saying that he is open to discussions.
Yeah.
Not only saying that he's open to discussions, he has said that he has written, I think he said 3 letters to the local government commission asking them to come and sit down and have discussions.
And they've been closed. He's been open, they've been closed.
No, but they literally wrote him saying that they're not interested in meeting at this time. You know,
they're closed.
Basically, that is the most ridiculous.
And some of the surprising things too, Jurita, on this front is that, you know, there are people who are being appointed to work at City Hall
without the knowledge of the council.
And the council don't know. People who are being fired from City Hall and the council got no knowledge. People being sent on leave and the council got no knowledge. And this is not something only peculiar to City Hall. We've seen in some instances with the NDCs where you have elections, whole elections that happen. And then, you know, people feel as though, okay, my person was not appointed, and so we vitiate those elections, even in some of the, what do you call them? The neighborhood something, not the neighborhood democratic council, the one that is beneath the neighborhood democratic council, the community councils. Community Development Council.
Yeah,
As
CDC.
for instance, in Agatash, I think it is in Bartica,
CDC,
you
yes.
had a whole group there who had their own election, elected people from the community
that was
to
actually
move it
the
forward.
community right near to Agatash is a Dog Point community that specifically happened at. And yes,
Thanks for that update.
we are talking about the fact that the guardrails of local democracy,
Yeah.
it's been dismantled, and this is something that the country needs to speak up against. This, when we speak about, okay, let me put it over like this. This is not the guardrail of local democracy for the coalition basis being dismantled. We're saying that the guardrail for local democracy throughout the country is being dismantled. This is something that concerns each and every one of us. It concerns you wherever you live, because wherever you live, you fall under a local government system. And the whole reason for having a local government system is so that you can elect persons that you believe are fit and capable to represent your interests, persons that you know that they will be fully aware of the issues of the communities because they live there, they reside there, they are part of that little community or larger community that you live in. And you elect them and you say that we want these people to go out there and represent us because you think that they are fit to represent. And what is going on right now? The breakdown in the guardrails. We see actions being had that is actually going to dismantle that system. So the people that are elected, and I'm using the city of Georgetown as an example because that's the largest municipality
Yeah,
that we have
Correct.
altogether, with 15 constituencies altogether. So you have a group of 30 councillors there at the mayor and city council. You have a group of 30 people there, 15 from the forest past the post, 15 from the proportional representation part of it. And we are seeing action to muzzle them. We're seeing actions that goes against decisions made at the level of that body. And we are saying that should not be acceptable for any of you altogether. Because as we would know, as we often speak about the fact that history, we need to go back to history and what transpired prior to having these local government elections and so forth. Before we had the local government elections, we had one in 2016, I believe, one in 2018.
Correct.
Before we had those elections, we had a system of IMCs, and IMCs, the interim management
18
committee.
long years of them.
Those interim management committees were actually put in place in which you have governments going to the communities and saying, oh, we're going to take you and you and you, and we're going to put you to manage the affairs of the community. And what happens there is that you often have, more 90% of the time or 99% of the time, you would have persons put in places there that are just political representatives, and they are not strong enough, some of them not knowledgeable enough, some of them don't even be in the area that they don't even reside in those areas.
Point taken.
And they just travel there for those meetings and so forth.
Point
we
taken.
Cannot have those systems in place right now. You have to fight for local representations to be kept in check. You have to fight for the guardrails, especially when it comes to local governance and local democracies, to be protected in this
The system
country.
has to work. The system has to work. And as Rudy said, we were due for our local government election since last year, and that has been deferred. We know some of the excuses that have been made, but the Constitution says that every 3 years, the citizens of this country, all of us, entitled to local government elections. That was not had last year. And it's right up in the open whether we even have them this year or some more excuses will follow. But we've noticed that a lot of the LDCs, RDCs, how they've been an overstepping of the authority of the local government ministry and minister into lots of the affairs, and where is is demonstrated in a usurping of the powers of the council and all of that. And we believe we have to relook at that, because as Rita so eloquently articulated, this is part of the breaking down of the guardrails of democracy. And if we show you, not only at local government, in lots of other areas, you have systems that aren't functioning, right? Some of them are not functioning because they have not been constituted, persons have not been appointed, and there's a long list, and we're going to just walk you guys quickly through some of that, a long list of commissions and and so on that are not functioning because, again, they are either being underfunded, You might have persons being appointed to them, but they're not had a first meeting,
Correct.
as in the case with the Procurement Commission. And then you've had some other bodies that have not even been appointed as yet. We are almost 2 years into this new administration. And again, you have so many outstanding issues that speak to, again, the breaking down of the guardrails of democracy, of which
Yes.
this kind of destructiveness we're seeing at local government is part of it. But these are some other bodies too who needs to be operationalized, for the want of a better word.
And that's correct. And there you have it, folks. The Judicial Service Commission.
Yep,
You have-
and that is even more. Critical in view of our person of interest this morning.
Correct.
Is the Chief Justice,
Yes.
and here the Judicial Service Commission has not even been appointed. Much more to be operationalized.
We have next, you have the Public Service Commission. One of the more important ones, again, this is Ganesh Maipal's area. He would speak a lot to the Public Service Commission. We also have the Teaching Service Commission. We have the Natural Resource Fund Board, the Local Content Secretariat, the Petroleum Commission, the Integrity Commission. And folks, as we come back in, I want to just make just to give you some clarity on the Public Procurement Commission altogether. And although there was a lot of talks in the media about the persons being named for the Public Procurement Commission, but until those names are voted on in Parliament by a 2/3 majority, then the appointment will be made and those persons will be able to function. So, it was all nice and dandy in the press as though those persons are there. Oh, well, the names are different now.
And they're working.
But that is not the case. The names have to be has to go to Parliament. A vote has to be taken, and a 2/3 majority vote is the only vote that can carry. And after that, the appointment will be made. So again, we await that, and I must say we have to await until we have a sitting of the National
And
Assembly.
all of this is part of our democratic system. How can you have a country that got all of these guardrails as part of their democratic system? Thanks, Dave. As part of our democratic system, and they don't function? It is remarkable how you can have a system like this that gives oversight to the administration, that gives oversight to, for instance, the police force, give oversight to segments of our country, supervision, provides transparency and accountability, but they have not been appointed, they have not been operationalized, they don't meet, and yet we say we're part of a democratic system and we believe in the rule of law and we believe in transparency and accountability. It is remarkable, and the fact is, you cannot have the full measure of what is guaranteed as our democratic process. And if the guys can put up the list quickly, we don't have, for instance, all of these bodies that are meeting and providing these safeguards. Thank you. Are providing the safeguards. We don't have all of these bodies meeting and providing the safeguards. Thank you for the graphic. Thanks. Because they're so important. You say we're democratic, but the Judicial Service Commission is not functioning.
Yes.
You say we're democratic, but the Public Service Commission is not functioning. You say that we have transparency and accountability, but the Teaching Service Commission is not functioning. The board, the same thing Ashley Singh is fighting against by saying, oh, we're going through all of the procedure for spending this money and a mile of all is going to work. But we put in place a board as part of the Natural Resources Fund Act that should be deliberating how the money from oil and gas is spent. We just spent all the money, but the board hasn't even been appointed yet.
So there's a lot to be done.
And the list goes on.
So when we're talking about, in order to safeguard these guardrails of democracy, these are things that needs to be in place. And today, like we said, our main focus was on the breaking down of the guardrails of local democracies. So coupled with all of the other bodies that we are seeing yet to be appointed and to be functioning, because appointed is one thing, but we need to see all of these bodies functioning in a manner at which they are required to function.
Correct.
So until we have arrived at that point altogether, then we cannot say that our country is a democratic country.
And I dare say as well, to underscore as we go, that as we head into this local government period, whenever local government elections are held, whenever the government feels they want to hold local government elections, get registered, because we are underscoring the program that they're going to continuous registration
from Monday.
From Monday, so make sure that you registered. And also, as we talk about this issue of local democracy, we are also saying that as we go into local government elections, whenever that is done, we should also be pursuing house-to-house registration. We want to underscore those.
I think that's a point for us to end on this morning. That we are saying that the GCOM has announced that they will be starting a cycle of continuous registration starting March 7th, which is next Monday. And we are saying that persons, you need to go out there, you need to make sure that you are registered. And I am saying that there is nothing that is stopping house-to-house registration when there is a cycle of continuous registration. No, that is not how it works. So we will be continuing to push for the house-to-house registration, because that is the only way you will see a true representation of the actual.
We're going to do our part
list.
at
We will
this
be
end.
doing it.
We're going to do our part at this end. That being said, you guys have your part to do. Go out there and get registered. And more than that, you can advocate on social media. You can advocate on the ground. Talk to your friends. You know some folks. You're connected to folks in government. And let them know that house-to-house registration is the way to go. It is part of how we safeguard our democratic process. If half of the people on the national voters list, are dead or live overseas or something like that, or cannot be accounted for, then we don't have a true reflection of who our electors are, who the voters are. And that is what needs to be fixed through house-to-house registration. Guys, that's our time this morning on the big issue. And good to see so many of you are still with us. Kurt Heineken, we see you.
Well, guys,
who do you see, Jarita?
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. I see it's Volme Wilson.
Yeah, Chlorine Fraser is here as well. Joyce Prince Kingston here too. Good to see you guys.
And guys, as we end the program this morning, make sure that you share so persons can get a lot of information was actually shared today, and I don't want some of the information to actually slip by.
Yeah.
We need persons.
So you have your role here.
Yes, we need persons to be doing the written submissions to the Parliament as it regards
on that act. On that act, I'm going to bring up the name very, very quickly back for you guys. The Narcotics and Psychotropic Substances Act of the bill rather of 2020.
Correct. And we also need persons to be reminded that if they believe a project is being done incorrectly when it comes to the management and the resources being spent with the project in their community, when it comes to government funded projects, you can write the audit office and request an audit of the spendings on that project altogether. And of course, the most important one is that we have the continuous registration, as we've been banging home to you, and we're going to continue to do it. We are going to be telling you to get yourself prepped. Make sure that everyone in your house is registered. Everyone needs to be registered. This is no joke. We talk about change and all of those things, but unless you are empowered to make sure that you are a part of the system, you cannot even voice your opinion when it comes to certain matters. So make sure that you do your part so that you will be empowered to let your voice be heard. And oftentimes when we talk about letting your voice be heard, it comes through the process of a vote. So even if you don't get registered, you will not be able to vote. And we will continue to push for house-to-house registration so that we can have a true reflection of the voters list altogether. But do not wait on that. You get out there from Monday morning, the 7th of March, and you make sure that you get yourself registered. Parents out there that you have children of age, go out and have them registered as well. We have to start this process from now.
Yep. And as we go and as we march up to International Women's Day on the 8th, we want to say to our person of interest this morning, congrats to the Chief Justice, Roxanne George Wiltshire, who's had a sterling career in the judicial system and has contributed in major ways to the legal fraternity. Congrats, continue doing what you're doing, continue to hold the fort at your end. And so who's going to be a person of interest tomorrow? You're going to have to tune in to see. But right up until the 8th of March, we're going to be featuring a woman who we believe deserves recognition on this program at least. And so you're going to have to tune in tomorrow.
Thank you all for joining us this morning. And we will be seeing you guys for FYI tomorrow at 8 a.m. once more. So join our affiliate programs later on in the day, 12 noon for Below the Belt, and also at 8 p.m. this evening for In the Ring. Have
a good one. And oftentimes we don't always get a chance to say, I almost missed it, to say, come on board and partner with us so we can do more of these programs. Guys, we're available on Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG, the local Guyanese Cash App. We're available via MoneyGram. We're available via Western Union as well. If you guys want to know how you can contribute to any of these platforms, you want to WhatsApp message 627-6963, 627-6963, and someone's going to be sure to tell you how you can do so. Thanks for joining us. That's our time.
Have a good day, guys.